Hola chicos, hey guys. So, otro video. If you've been watching these in order, then this is me literally just filming them in order. But this is going to go over one part of the grammar in this new lección, this new chapter that we are doing in class. So this is on page 37. If again you want to follow along in your own book instead of looking at my screen, that's up to you. I will have you guys take a couple of notes on here, like usual, just in case you don't have anything to write with or something. Then, or of course, you'll rewatch it over and over until you remember what the notes are. But this is going to be going over a specific verb. So we've technically mentioned this or half of this already, like in class naturally, because of course you can't speak without grammar. It's ingrained in everything we do. So we've actually already seen some of these phrases. We've used some of these phrases. You know what they mean, but we just, there's a few others that we haven't practiced as much, and you have to know exactly every part of this specific verb. So, this is called presentación de gramática. It's like a grammar presentation. We have, I get comfortable, I need to see my screen a bit better. We have the same basic rules of new words will be blue, they will be bolded, but when it comes to grammar, because verbs have to be connected to nouns technically, or pronouns for them to make sense, you will see some extra colors in this chart too, and I'll explain them for you. So, we're going to be looking at subject pronouns. Those will be blue in this section. Subject pronouns are just the ways that you talk about people by replacing their name. So, it's like you don't talk about yourself in third person. You don't say Señorita Monje is hungry. Señorita Monje is from Los Angeles. You always say, I am, right? Instead of saying your name over and over. Or you're talking about a friend, instead of saying, Annabelle is blank. Annabelle is this. You'll just say she is. Or you are instead of this person is, this person is. So that's what pronouns are. They replace a person's name or a group of people's names. If it's everyone in my family going somewhere, I won't say his name and her name and his name. I'll just say they are going somewhere. So that's what we're starting with. They will be blue, like I said. So the example they give you guys are we are friends in English. In Spanish, that would be nosotros somos amigos. So the way you say we or is, I should say, nosotros in Spanish. But of course, we have way more than just two words, so this is what we're focusing on. You have two new words, technically, or two sets of words in this chart. Whenever we go over verbs, and specifically grammar, because that's what verbs are going to most likely be, you will most likely have two different color sets here, like today's, because you always have to know who you're talking about, as in the pronoun, the person, in order to change the spelling of the verb. So in this example, all the English words, or both of the words, but all of the English phrases are black, because we kind of know what those already are. The Spanish words that are blue are the people words, and the red words are that verb. In this case, the verb is to be. The word is ser, that's how you call it in Spanish, and the word ser means to be something. As in, I am from LA. I am a girl. I am Ms. Monje. Like that. I'm going to go through. I will tell you, of course, what they mean. I'm going to use them in little sentences to help you guys see how they work in context. So I recommend if you want to copy my sentences down, be my guest, just so you know, what would make sense and how you would use that word or phrase, technically, because there's two words you're looking at, in a correct way. So, to start off. Your chart is made up of two columns and a couple of boxes in each column. Under the first column, which would be this entire section here, it's called singular because this entire section of boxes or parts of this little table, this chart, only refer to individual people. As in, this first box will refer to yourself. So any verb we ever come across, when you're talking about yourself, as in, I ate something, I watched something, I went somewhere. When you're trying to say the you form, the yourself form, not the you, someone else, but the yourself form, will always be in this box. So it's always there, automatically. If you ever don't see it, you're oh, easy. My spelling goes into that box. Second box is still about one person, but it says familiar. So you guys know that's the informal. Some places call it familiar, some call it informal, but it means the same thing. It's the one where you talk about tú, because you're talking about a person you are more familiar and comfortable with, right? Someone that you know well. So whenever you're saying the word tú, the way that you would change the spelling for whatever verb you're looking at, no matter if it's Spanish 1 or Spanish 4, tú is always going to be the second box. Third box, Technically, yes, we're still mentioning singular. It's just that you're still going to talk about one person, but it might be one guy, it might be one girl, it might be one adult, like a professional, formal setting, which is why it says formal here. But either way, it's one person. If it's a guy, if it's a girl, if it's an adult, if it's your boss, right? Either way, it's going to be one of those people. So, usted, which is the formal way that you would say you to somebody. The word él, which means he. And the word ella, which means she, would all still fall under this box. So technically, you see 3 words there, but it's because I can use that verb spelling if it's one girl. I can use that verb spelling if it's one boy. I can use that verb spelling if it's one adult. Same idea. That's why these are all singular. The second side of this chart says plural. So everybody, all the blue words that are under here will still be considered plural because it's going to be more than one person. It could be more than one person, including you. So yo is still technically in this box, but it's you plus other people, as in we are going to the movies, me and my friends, or whoever you're mentioning with yourself. So this is we, but you're still technically a part of that group, because just like you notice that yo is right here, yo is still technically in that part, it's just that you brought more people in. Vosotros looks like nosotros right here, but it's a little different. This line technically had tú, so people you're familiar with, like friends, the informal, the familiar way. That means that this word includes the tú again. It's just that it's not one person that's a tú, it's a lot of people. It's plural amounts, multiple people that would all be considered tú. We don't use this version of the vosotros too often. You could. It exists. People do it in the world. That's why it's there. It's just that it's more common in Europe. It's like a fancy, truthfully, that's what it is. It's like a fancy way of saying they in Europe. We don't really use it, but it's important to know it, because if you ever do meet somebody who does use it, sorry, too many S's there, you might, if you're not used to it, think that they're trying to say nosotros, and you might say like, oh, like they're inviting me something, like they want us to go somewhere. They're saying we should go do something. But in reality, they're saying they are going to go do something. So just for you to know, they look similar, they sound similar, but they're different technically. This first one includes you. The second one does not include you. So don't get caught accidentally adding yourself to a group where you're not supposed to be in. This last one, if you notice, first we had one adult, usted, we had one guy, él, and we had one girl, ella. Same thing here, except now it's plural. So now it's multiple adults, ustedes, multiple guys, ellos, multiple girls, ellas. So again, it's still the same type of people, now you just have more of them. This version is what the rest of the world, except Europe, literally, use what they use for they. So just like how I might say ellos are going to go to the movies, it's as if I had said vosotros are going to go to the movies. So I'm saying they're going to the movies, vosotros are going to the movies. Same word. So you could use vosotros if you wish. You're not going to see a lot of people use it out here. Out here, like probably 99.9% of the people speaking Spanish are going to be saying the ellos, ellas, depending as to the group that they're mentioning. So just like I said, the group that they're mentioning, if you notice, these have 8 S's in parentheses because the spellings could change. So we know that it could be a group of guys, ellos, group of girls would be ellas. Same here. If it's in Spain, right, the fancy place, if it's a group of guys going somewhere or doing something, I'd say vosotros. Group of girls, I would say vosotras. They still mean they, though. And then for the nosotros, the we version, the one where I'm actually involved in whatever's going on, nosotros would be groups of guys going out and saying, we're going to go do this. Or nosotras, which is what I would use, groups of girls going out and doing something. Something to keep in mind, though, just because the, like, masculine guy form is considered masculine, right? That's just the name of the category. Even though these, I say groups of guys doing this, groups of guys, whatever, it doesn't technically just mean groups of guys. It could mean just groups of people. Just how I constantly, I'm sure you've heard, refer to you guys as you guys. And obviously, you're not all boys, you're not all men. Same thing in Spanish. Like, the collective group of everybody is called the guy form. So just because I say nosotros, doesn't mean that girls aren't in that group at all. So like, if I'm saying that me and my friends, if I have guys and girls in my group that are going to go do something, I would say nosotros, because there's guys and girls. If it was only girls, like specifically only girls, going or doing the thing, then I would say nosotras. So if you technically see the guy spelling of something and it says like nosotros or vosotros if you're in Spain, or ellos, you don't technically know if it's only guys or if it's just a mixture of people. The only time you will for sure know if it's like nosotras or vosotras or ellas, then you know, okay, that's only girls because they're keeping the girl form instead. So, I'm breaking my box. Those are the people. Now the red words are the verb. So just like I say in English, we're going to start with the black part of it. I am, and I can't really say you am because that sounds weird. You have to say something else. Same thing in Spanish. I'm going to say yo soy when I'm talking about myself. I am. I can't really say soy with the word for you, because if I say tú soy, right, you am, it doesn't sound right. I mean, technically people might understand what you're saying, but they're not gonna it's gonna be harder for them to figure out, because they're gonna try to figure out, did you mean to say yourself but you didn't, or did you mean to say are for somebody else but then you didn't? They won't know. So yo soy, I am. Second one is tú eres, you are. Technically, usted es, again, still means you are, it's just the formal way. One person, if it's a guy or a girl, is. So technically, es means is, it's just that when you're speaking in the formal, you would say like you is, even though for us that would be completely informal and like slang and would sound weird. In Spanish, it would be the opposite way. For nosotros, or a group of girls, nosotras, you say somos. That means we are. So like nosotras somos amigas. We are friends. In Spain, again, in Spain they use this as the informal way. It's just that for us and the rest of the world, we don't have a formal informal for groups of people. We just call them they, as in this bottom box. In Spain, they do have the informal way. We just don't use the informal way. So the vosotros or vosotras would be vosotros sois. Sounds like soy sauce. Vosotros sois. As in, all of you people, like y'all, technically y'all, you guys are something. The bottom part, which is what literally the rest of the world uses, is they are for the plural. So it could be that you are, as in lots of people you're being more formal and professional with. You could say like all of you guys are something, and then guys and girls are. So they are something. So that technically can mean two different things. It could be the formal version of you are, or it could be the just basic, this group of people are something. So reminders. These are the people and how they work. Like I said, you use tú when you're describing someone you're more familiar with, most likely someone around your age or younger, someone that you're close to, like a friend, a family member. You use usted for people that are probably older than you, have some sort of authority over you, someone that you want to show extra respect for, or depending on the situation, just like a more professional setting in general. Most likely they're going to be people that you don't know super well, like you're obviously not very close to. Like obviously I know my boss or like my department chair, the person like supervises the Spanish department, but they're not like my family. They're not like my best friend. So it's a little different. So it's just you showing them extra respect. Not that I don't like you. It doesn't mean anything about liking or disliking. It's just you're my boss. So obviously I'm going to be extra respectful and professional around you. So that's usually usted. For plural, the second section, right, like I said, you use vosotros/vosotras in Spain. It's just like the way that you would use like the tú, but if it's a lot of tús, if that makes sense. That's what I'm saying, like y'all, like all of you guys, all of y'all. Then you have the usted form, which would be for people a bit more professional setting, formal, people you don't know very well, people you want to show extra respect for, which is what you end up seeing in most of the world. Ellos/ellas, that would end up being the specific guy/girl versions of somebody is, or people are technically. And then most of these, especially the plurals, because if it's a plural, that's when you can like distinguish if it's only guys, only girls, or like a mixture of it, they have the different forms of spellings. So like you're not going to change the spellings for yourself. Yo will always be yo. You're not going to change the spellings for tú. You're not going to change the spellings for usted, but you will change the spellings when it's a larger group, which is why spelling changes can happen with nosotros. They can be nosotras. With vosotros, it can be vosotras. And with, of course, ellos, because it could be ellas as well. You don't really change the word for usted because usted doesn't end with an O/A. That's just usted or ustedes. Stays exactly how it is. So, we did have this chart on the review page as well. If you guys remember, your review page was page 51. So if you look on page 51, scroll to the bottom, you will have the little chart that we had right here, down at the bottom of that page too. So remember, in this case, page 51 is the review page for this chapter. That's going to have like all the material for the entire unit. This being some of that material too. So hopefully that was relatively easy to understand for you guys. It's our first grammar lesson, so I expect it to be longer and like to take a bit more understanding because you haven't really done grammar before. But from here on out, as long as you remember what these blue words mean, any word I give you, and you remember like where they go in the box, you kind of know where to put the rest of your spellings. So practice your blue words, memorize them. We're going to be using them literally for the rest of the year. Any level of Spanish you take, you have to know what these blue words are. So study them up. We'll go over them, of course, in class in like a real life lesson. Practice them. And then, of course, if you guys have questions, let me know so I can answer them for you too. So I'll see you guys in class. Adios.